Come to Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbao. Tonight, the Ghana Football Association today confirmed that the 4 nations that will play in the Unity Cup in late May will include Ghana, Nigeria, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. This, of course, games will happen following the conclusion of the domestic European season. Now, Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago will compete in the first semi-final on Tuesday, May 27, with Ghana and Nigeria playing each other a day later. Now, the respective losers will then play a bronze medal match on Saturday, May 31st, with the winners facing each other in the final later that day. Now, the tournament begins just a few days after the weekend on which the Premier League, La Liga, Ligue 1, and Serie A seasons conclude, while the Bundesliga campaign ends 10 days before the first semi-final. Now, the Unity Cup, which will be taking place in London, previously took place in 2004, with Nigeria, Jamaica, and Republic of Ireland taking part in a round-robin tournament. Nigeria were the champions after winning both of their games. So next time Black Stars will be in action will be the last week in the month of May in London in that 4 nations tournament. Well, to the Ghana Premier League now, and Kumasi and Tukotoko have reclaimed the top spot after a narrow 1-0 win over Brecum Chelsea in an outstanding match day 21 of the Premier League. That game took place today at the Barra Sports Stadium. It was Daniel Ajete's 74th-minute strike which separated the two teams, and Gold Stars, of course, knocked the Porcupine Warriors off the summit on Tuesday after they beat Heart of Lions 2-1 at home. But Kotoko have responded in impressive style by beating Brecum Chelsea and Kumasi to reclaim the top spot. Here is how the action unfolded.
Asiedu, this is Ajete. Ajete blasted in, and Ajete has finally found it. The goal there's so much wanted. The goal there's so much desired. It has finally arrived. And Daniel Adrian Ajete, brilliant strike. And Kotoko the lead. And Bedlam among the fans. Everyone is excited here.
The goal keeps coming, and this young man just struck the ball at the right time. He took off to the Mankuna, and he was allowed with a lot of spaces and made a mistake. That was a short corner taken, and Patrick Asedu took off, and that belter.
A great goal that took Kotoko to the top of the standings. In other games, Vision FC managed to defeat defending champions Summertex by 3-2 at the Nana Ejay Kraku, the second park in Tema. Diana Stars also managed a draw in their games. But then the standings at the moment, you could see Kumasi and Tukotoko top of the table there, and 45 points, just 1 point ahead of Bibiani Gold Stars in second place. And Heart of Lions also in third place, 40 points, and you've got Midiama in fourth place now. Heart of Folk, I beg your pardon, Heart of Folk also in fifth place there, and Nations FC in sixth place. Heart of Folk have got a game tomorrow, and they're playing Nations FC at the Tuba AstroTurf tomorrow. And the outcome of that game, of course, might see Heart of Folk jumping, moving ahead of Midiama FC to fourth place. But the title race in the Ghana Premier League is getting really intense, and the big question now is, with about at least 9 to 10 games to go, which team is in the best position to clinch the title? At the moment, it looks like a Bibiani Gold Stars, Kumasi and Tukotoko title race. But what do the analysts think? Are there other clubs that might also stand a chance of winning the title? Michael Akumia is my colleague based in Kumasi, and he's been following the Ghana Premier League very closely, particularly this season, and he joins me via Zoom for some thoughts on this. Michael, where do you stand on this? Is it a Bibiani Gold Stars, Kotoko title race, or the other clubs, in the mix there?
Yes, a very good evening to your cherished viewers. I think 3 things are going to decide who is going to win the league. 1, the quality of coaching. 2, the quality in your squad depth. It's not about the quantity. Number 3, your level of consistency. Playing in a home dominant league, it means that you are supposed to be very consistent in your home games, especially if you want to win the Ghana Premier League. When you check the table, on top of the table when it comes to home teams or teams that have actually won more home games, Kumasi Asante Kotoko tops it up with 31 points out of 13 games. Bebiani Gold Stars comes second. Out of 12 games, they have 30 points. Then Bechem United comes third with 29 points out of possible 11 home games. You look at goals scored and goals conceded. Kotoko have scored 16 goals and conceded 5. Gold Stars have scored 16 goals and conceded 4. Bechem United have scored 14 goals and conceded none at home. But you look at the level of consistency in terms of home wins. Kotoko is there and Gold Stars is also there. The last 7 games for Kumasi Asante Kotoko at home: 1-0 against Hearts of Folk, 2-0 against Bebiani Gold Stars, 4-1 against Visions FC, 1-0 against Karela, 2-0 against Legon Cities, 1-0 against Basek Holy Stars, and 1-0 against Blokum Chelsea today. 7 out of 7, 21 points at home in the last 7 games. As compared to Bebiani Gold Stars, in the last 7 home games, they've actually won 5 and drew 2. The 2 draws came against Samatex and Accra Hearts of Folk. So in terms of home consistency, Kotoko is a little bit above Bebiani Gold Stars in whatever we are talking about. Coaching, I think Frimpong Manso has actually surprised a lot of people this season when it comes to how he has controlled his team, set up his team, and is getting crucial results at crucial moments. He's been solid. Coach Ogum is the Premier League winner. There's experience over there, which really counts when it comes to who is going to win the Premier League from the tactical point of view. Number 3, when you talk about squad in depth, which I said is not about the quantity, but the quality. You look at Bebiani Gold Stars and their setup, the kind of signings they've done. If you have Charles Kamara Jenfi, who has been playing the Premier League for Bebiani Gold Stars for quite some time now, Leonard Frimpong, Stephen Owusu Banahene, these guys, they have experience. Vincent Atenga, they've come a long way, even with the inclusion of Samuel Atakubi from Karela United, who joined them this season. You see that they have enough quality within their squad. When the first 11 is even out of the team, you can have another squad that can come in and come and fit in so well. Kotoko did a very good business in the January transfer window. You look at Dan Ajete Adran, who scored today's goal. You look at top players like Michael Sefa, who has been partnering Samba O'Neill, solid at the back line, even in the absence of Joseph Ablo. And Kotoko is still here to have Lord Amwa back from injury, Emmanuel Kote back from injury. So you look at these 2 teams and the level they've set in the Premier League. I think it's really going to be a 2-horse race between the 2 of them. Now, I know there are things behind them, but I think these 2, they've actually set the tone with the 3 things I mentioned earlier.
Just finally, I want us to take a look at least the remaining fixtures, because we've got just about at least 9 to 10 remaining fixtures to wrap up the league, all right? And just take a closer look at the fixtures that are left for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. If you could have the previous image of Kotoko, all right? And we'll get it a bit closer. That will be the first image of Kotoko. You see the games, because just after the game, this is pretty much the last 5 games for Kotoko before the end of the season. I'm sure the previous one will come, but then that's in the month of May, all right? Good, great. So just in the month of April, these are the remaining fixtures for Kotoko in the month of April. They've got one against Hearts of Lions. That's a big game at Pando, massive game. Then they've got another one against Bechem, another big game. Then they've got one against Accra Lions, fairly decent, and another, a regional derby there against Nations FC, and another one against the Diana FC. You look at the month of April, look at the fixtures Kotoko have got, tough fixtures. Now, look at the month of May, and of course, just one game in the month of June. Look at it. They've got one against Hearts of Folk. They've got another one against Dreams FC. They've got one against BNE Gold Stars themselves. They've got another one against Midiama, and they've got a final one against Vision FC. These are tough run of fixtures, at least for the remaining 9 fixtures that are left in the Ghana Premier League for Kotoko. Tough fixtures by all standard. But if you want to win the title, you've got to get points against these teams because you have to play them. It's inevitable. Now, look at BBNE Gold Stars. For the month of April, their remaining fixtures in the month of April, they've got one against Dreams FC. After this one, they played yesterday against Hearts of Lions. Then they go play Young Apostles. Then they play Bechem. Then they go play Midiama. Then they play Vision FC. Then they wrap up the month of April. Now, go to the month of May. Let me show you something here. After that, they play Kerala United. Then they play in Santraman. Of course, this game is suspended because of Santraman withdrawal from the league, so they're going to play. Then they've got one against Kotoko, crucial game. After that, they play Brecum Chelsea, and finally they play Accra Lions to wrap it up. I'm not sure, but if you look at the fixtures, Michael, you will agree with me that what Kotoko have got is pretty difficult compared to Ibiani Gold Stars.
If you are looking at the two teams, if you are picking the first 5, because the first 5 is really going to be very important.
Yeah.
I think the biggest game Kotoko is going to play is going to be against Hearts of Lions away. That is really, really, really going to be a very tough game for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So I think out of the next 5 games, the most difficult one is really going to be one against Hearts of Lions.
Wow.
Only if Kotoko doesn't become complacent. When you look at Gold Stars, I think the next 5, 2 games are really going to be very difficult. Dreams FC away and Brecum United away. The reason why I'm picking Dreams FC is you look at Dreams FC and their recent form and the kind of results they are getting. Then number 2, you watch Brecum and their home record. They've actually scored 14 solid goals at home without conceding even one.
Yep.
And they've been consistent, they've been getting results, and these 2 games are really going to be difficult. But you look at Kotoko's own, I don't think playing Accra Lions at away is really going to be difficult. Nations FC are not a good home side in the league this season. They are the best away side in the league this season with 18 points out of the possible away games they've played. Then you look at Vision FC away, a new club in the league against Kotoko. Kotoko and Hearts have a very good history against teams that actually come into the league for the first time and play against them. So where it's really going to be difficult for Kotoko is against Hearts of Lions in the next 5 fixtures. When we are done with the next 5 fixtures, I'll come here again and I'll tell you who is going to win the league.
Michael, really appreciate your time. Thank you very much. It's been really fun talking to you. That's Michael Akumia, based in Kumasi, Wontumi TV, great sports analyst by all standard. But let's turn attention to the Accra Sports Stadium because the National Sports Authority has announced that their decision to extend closure of the Accra Sports Stadium for domestic football matches. Now, in a statement released earlier today, the NSA said that even though the Ghana Football Association had made requests to use the facility in the game between Accra Heart of Oak and Nations FC, they refused to grant same due to a structural audit which is currently being undertaken. Now, this obviously forced Heart of Oak to reschedule their game to Thursday at the Tuba AstroTurf. Now, the Director General of the National Sports Authority, Yao Ampofo Ankara, has been providing further details on the work that is currently being done at the Accra Sports Stadium.
Architectural engineering is something that is a specialized field, and thankfully we have an agency like the AESL who we can rely on, and then also bring in competent engineers who have the know-how. Interestingly, I can reveal this, that before the match we had Chumbuafu and is it their partners coming in to look at the facility. We invited them and they did a little bit of a survey. We had a drone going out to take specific shots which would help them map out what they need to do. That was unofficial. We needed that information before the match. Now that we're done, we need to do another review and audit the structures that need to be immediately addressed urgently in terms of either upgrade, complete change, or modifications. That will be left with the experts, and I'm sure once we have those reports and recommendations, we won't waste time in doing that. We can't move ahead without the experts telling us this is what you need to do, these are the options, and this is of course how much it would cost, where do we get the funding from, how long do we have to do that, and how quickly can it be ready before, way before the next game. So the processes are in row, and I'm confident that we'll have it done in no time at all.
To some of the stories now, and Dallas Cowboy Sam Williams is set to become the latest NFL player to visit Ghana as they enjoy their off-season. Well, the player has been speaking to Joy Sports Loris Beidou ahead of his trip to the country.
And so it's just Burrow getting back into the... Well, that line unable to hold back the Cowboys as Sam...
Ghana's attempt to grow interest in flag football could be set for another boost With Dallas Cowboys Sam Williams set to visit the country. The defensive end will be the latest to come to Africa as part of efforts to promote the growth of the sport. Sam says he's looking forward to helping develop interest in the sport in Ghana ahead of his visit.
As an athlete, we only do as much as we know. So if with this opportunity, I want to show them like, yo, this is a cool place, a cool experience. So that I feel like my part in that is to just get them the knowledge and let them have the opportunity to see that, yo, they like, this is very cool. Like, it's something that we should be interested in, especially as Black athletes. We should be able to come experience this part of the world. So I feel like my role is when I come there, share my experience, and share the memories that I make there, and just talk about it to just grow interest from other people.
With African descent, Sam believes the trip to West Africa is a good opportunity for him to reconnect with his roots.
Of course, like I'm so excited. I don't even know what to expect, and I don't want to know what to expect. I just want to go and just experience it all. I don't have any expectations. I don't have anything that I feel like is coming. I'm just gonna experience it and just like enjoy it while I'm there.
He explains that his visit to Ghana will also be an opportunity for people interested in taking up flag football to try out.
Actually, we once we get closer, of course, we're gonna discuss that. But right now, whatever, I'm with whatever. If they say I can get 100 people, 100 people come in. If they say only 20, 20, so I'm with whatever they organize and whatever they tell me that I need to do.
The NFL player is expected to arrive in Ghana in the coming weeks.
Trouble, and he's still on his feet. Now he goes down. Sam Williams.
That's pretty special for Sonny and his family.
Well, it's 10 to Scotland now, and a 7-figure payout has been agreed for a lawsuit over claims of historical sexual abuse at Celtic Boys Club. Around 30 survivors who allegedly suffered sexual abuse while playing for the boys' club in the 70s, 80s and 90s launched legal action under new Scottish legislation. The abuse was carried out by convicted pedophiles James Torbett and Frank Kiney at the youth club, which was established as a feeder team to the senior Celtic FC in 1966. Now, although Celtic repeatedly insisted they were a separate entity from the youth club, lawyers acting on behalf of the victims argued both were intimately connected as they shared players, kits, officials and premises. As part of a statement issued after the settlement, the club apologized for the abuse, saying the club is, quote, very sorry that these events took place at Celtic Boys Club. Turn attention to Germany now and connect with DW-TV sports journalist Chris Harrington for the latest in Germany. Chris, good to have you one more time. And let's talk about Leipzig, because we understand they have sacked their head coach, Marco Rose. Was that a decision that was always going to happen?
Yeah, that's right. And they did it via statement. The club released a statement saying we believed in Marco and his team for a very long time and tried everything until the very end to turn things around together. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do that. Now, when the news broke, what came to mind to me was, what's Jurgen Klopp thinking? Because Jurgen Klopp, let's not forget, was brought on to be the kind of, coach in the background at the major levels across the Red Bull clubs, Leipzig being the flagship club or the most successful club, in my opinion, in that regard. He was not named in the statement, and he would not step in as coach, whether on a premium or interim basis. The reality is Leipzig have been slipping down the standings. They slipped to 6th in the standings after losing to Gladbach. and they're 3 points behind a top 4 place, and that's what they'll need right now if they want to continue. You know, this is a team that made history a couple of years back under Julian Nagelsmann's reign in reaching the Champions League and reaching deep in that particular competition. And Marco Rose looked to be, you know, on the right track. They won the German Cup, you know, in his first season in charge. So things look to be going in the right direction. He's had some great talented players. A lot have departed, and just things haven't been the same. He hasn't been able to right the ship. And, you know, this is the first thing to go. You know, when the club is going off the wire or off road, the coach is the first to go. So Marco Rosa, I'm sure, will find a place in the near future. I'm sure in the Bundesliga again. He spent, you know, some time at multiple clubs in the Bundesliga, but, you know, Leipzig have to make a change. And it's interesting, the timing of everything, given that Marco Rose was successful as a German, winning the German Cup with the club. You know, this comes out, and Leipzig are set for a semifinal clash in the German Cup at Stuttgart. So I don't know if that's, you know, what kind of sway that will have on the momentum or the morale of the Leipzig players, you know, but time will tell for sure.
Let's talk about Bayern Munich, because we understand FIFA could be forced to pay out to them after Alphonso Davies' injury while playing for Canada. Of course, we know the player has not been ruled out for the rest of the season. Do you foresee Bayern Munich pushing it to that extent, forcing FIFA to pay to compensate them for the injury of Alphonso Davies?
Yeah, this is a really interesting story, you know, and it, you know, goes to big. Obviously, we know there have been a lot of complaints in the past about how much football is on a player's calendar when you factor in the multiple competitions, international duty, and so forth. Well, Bayern Munich has threatened legal action after Davis returned from international break with a torn ACL in his knee. You know, Canadian soccer initially gave him, he's only 24 years old, they gave him the all clear after he went off injured in their recent win over the U.S. But Bayern, you know, examined, you know, he is obviously a big investment. He did sign an extended deal, so it does matter. His health is paramount. Bayern gave him an examination when he came back to Munich, and they learned he tore his ACL. And then, you know, obviously Bayern are livid about it, claiming that the Canadian Federation of gross negligence. And he just basically went on to say, Bayern Munich's camp, the brass saying it can't be you put a player on a flight without a bandage on his knee and not notice he's torn his ACL. That's remarkable when you factor in. It's not like, you know, Canada is not a team or an organization that's not accustomed, you know, to major competitions. So this, you know, has me scratching my head. I can't really understand. And then according to Bayern, Canada didn't even send a scan of the latest, of his knee, of the standing, so they could do their own evaluation on their end. So it seems to be up in the air, and, you know, how it plays out, I wouldn't be shocked if FIFA does penalize Canada in some way, shape, or form, because, you know, this is definitely negligence. You cannot put a player on a plane injured and then, you know, claim ignorance on the matter. That's just inexcusable.
Chris, really appreciate your time on Prime Sports tonight. And also to you for watching, because that's all we have for you. We'll be back, in the course of the week with more stories. Up next is PM Express. Thank you very much once again for your company.